Hey guys, Tim here. Welcome to my home, and I am going to do a video for you today on how to upgrade to Windows 8 using the recently released Windows 8 operating system. Now, I do want to be fair and tell you guys this is actually the second time I'm recording this video. The first time I did, I ran through the entire upgrade process and went smoothly all the way until the very end when Windows started up and all I got was a black screen with a mouse icon on it, nothing else. Well, the reason I found out was it looks like the existing drivers for the Intel HD graphics adapter for the i3, i5, and i7 mobile processors doesn't support Windows 8 by default. There's an update that they did. Windows is supposed to hotfix that, but if you can't get into Windows to load the hotfix, you can't fix it. Why Microsoft left this devastating flaw in there, I'm kind of lost on. The good news is you can go directly to Intel's website. WorldStart's going to have an article shortly on that. And you can also check your manufacturer's website. In this case, I went to Dell's website because I have a Dell computer, and they had driver updates available for it. So it actually wasn't as big of a difficulty as I expected it to be, but it does prove a point. I should have listened to my own advice, and I should have checked my manufacturer's website for Windows 8 drivers and Windows 8 utilities before I went and installed Windows 8. Could have saved myself a little trouble there. So anyway, let me start off by telling you something really simple. First of all, and what really saved me here was I was able to restore Windows 7, which is what's on behind me, was a backup. I used LapLink Disk Image. We happen to sell it, but you could use any disk imaging software, and I made a full backup of my system. So when it went bad, all I had to do was use that backup CD, boot off of it, which is very simple. Find instructions online how to do that, and load up the image. I plugged in this hard drive, I selected the image file, it restored my computer right back to where it was when I made this image file on Friday. So let's go through Windows 8. I have a copy of Windows 8 Pro here. Just to open it up, it's a really simple package. Inside of the package, you're going to have a few things. First of all, you're going to have your CDs. You've got a 64-bit version, a 32-bit version. I recommend using the 64 if possible because it's going to support 4 gigabytes of memory, and it's going to be backwards compatible with most 32-bit applications. It also comes with a getting started card on how to actually install it. Really simple instructions though. Put the DVD in, enter your product key, follow the on-screen instructions, and a little bit of getting around how to bring up the charms bar to bring your mouse to the upper right-hand corner or swipe over if you're installing it on a tablet PC. On top of that, in the box, really the only other thing there is the product key, which is neat because it actually has a little key on the top, better than your standard Windows, which had that sticker that you're supposed to stick on a place. And behind there is actually my upgrade product key. Really simple packaging. So what we're going to do is we're going to start up the upgrade process. What I want to do is I'm going to kind of fade out the camera here and bring it into a nice up-close view of the laptop so you can watch the entire upgrade process happen. Hopefully this video shows you what the options are, what you're going to select, and really get you comfortable with it before you're having to sit in front of your own computer and do that upgrade. Again, learn from my mistakes. Check the manufacturer's website for Windows 8 drivers. Also check online for any specific issues. Personally, you can Google, and this is what I did to get the answer to this one, is Google Dell L502X, which is the model of my laptop, Windows 8 problems. And I quickly saw the black screen with the mouse cursor on there. Could have saved myself a lot of time if I went ahead and followed my own advice there. Googled it and checked the manufacturer's website. So let's go to an up-close view of the laptop screen, and I'll guide you through the install. I'm going to go ahead and pop open my CD tray on the side here. I'm going to put the 64-bit CD in, click it down, and slide the CD tray closed. And you can see in a moment an auto run screen is going to come up asking me if I want to open the files or if I want to import some pictures. We're going to select Open Files as the option. The Windows 8 installer may automatically open also. It depends on your version of Windows and how it's configured. But the easiest way to do it if it doesn't automatically open is to go ahead and open and browse files, or you can go to Start and go to Computer, and then you're just going to double click on your DVD drive. Either way works, and once we're there, we're going to double click Setup. This is going to launch the Windows 8 installation utility. And there you can see the Windows 8 logo, and it's preparing the configuration setup program. Now, a little tidbit here, because I feel it's important to say, your experience with the upgrade is obviously going to be different depending on your specific computer, the speed of your computer, the speed of your hard drive, and a lot of other factors that can affect how the upgrade goes. The good thing here is with Windows 8, if it'll run on Windows 7, if your computer supports Windows 7, chances are Windows 8 is going to work for it too. The system requirements are roughly 16 to 20 gigabytes of free hard drive space, a 1 gigahertz processor. Really, you should have about 2 gigabytes of RAM. I believe 1 gigabyte's the minimum, but you really do want to have at least 2 gigabytes, and a DirectX 9 compatible video card. If you have a computer that's 3 to 4 years old, it should be DirectX 9. If you have an older computer, now might be the time you want to look at maybe upgrading it. Even a low-end new PC is probably going to be much faster than a 4 or 5 year old computer. So the system utility is completed there. Now it's going to ask if I want to get the latest updates from Microsoft for the installation. You definitely want to make sure Go Online and Install Updates Now is selected, and you're going to press the Next button. It's going to check for updates. You can also close in the background this Windows Explorer window. And it says that it's restarting the setup process now. It's asking me to enter my product key. Now, for obvious reasons here, I can't show you my product key, so you're actually just going to see the back of my shirt while I enter this here. But you simply just type in the product key. You do not need to enter the dashes. Microsoft's done a great job here and automatically entered the dashes, so you just type the numbers and the letters. Now, I went ahead and I hit continue. There, and it brought up the licensing terms. Of course, I'm going to read in detail all the licensing terms, the user agreement here, consult a lawyer if necessary, and once I've done and I accept these agreements, I'm going to click I accept the license terms, and I'm going to press accept on there. It's asking me what I want to do at this point. You have a few options. You can keep Windows settings, personal files, and apps. If you're upgrading from Windows 7, this should be the default option you pick. If you're upgrading from Vista or Windows XP, you may not have the option to keep your applications. You may just be able to keep your personal files. If you do not want to keep your applications and your settings, you just want to keep your personal files only but start almost fresh, you can select keep personal files only. Now that is going to keep your documents, your pictures, your videos, but if a program puts these files in an odd location, it may not save them. So it's always good to do that backup first. I was saved the first time I did this video by making myself a backup. You should definitely do one before you go ahead and upgrade to Windows 8. It's a big change, so you want to make sure you can always go back if something goes wrong, or if you decide you just don't like Windows 8. Or you can pick to choose nothing, and that will install Windows 8 fresh. There will be nothing on your computer. It'll be as if it's new from the manufacturer. I'm going to select to keep my settings, personal files, and apps. And we're going to go ahead and press next here. And it's going to make sure that we're ready to install. This will take a few minutes. Now, this is going to run through a utility to verify that the applications that are already installed on my system and the drivers and the different utilities are compatible with Windows 8. So the compatibility checks run here, and it's advised us that we need some attention to some things that are installed on the computer here. And what it's showing us here is that the Intel ProSet wireless Wi-Fi software is not compatible with Windows 8. That's not a problem, again, because it's a Wi-Fi piece of software. That just means that the particular wireless device that we have in here, an Intel ProSet wireless card, doesn't have a Windows 8 compatible piece of software that they can automatically install, or that the one that's already in there is compatible with Windows 8. So it's advising that we uninstall it. That's something that I feel comfortable doing. Again, you'd want to review the list here and see if it's something that's very important. If it's something as simple as a wireless driver or a video card driver, probably not the biggest problem in the world. My suggestion would be to stop, look for an update. If it's something like a wireless card driver, you can probably just uninstall it and move forward with the installation. But if it was a video card, I would update the video card's drivers. If it was a specific piece of software that I knew I needed to use, I would check to see if there was a Windows 8 compatible version before moving forward. In this case, we're going to click uninstall, and this is going to launch the Intel ProSet install utility. So there we go, we finished. We're going to go ahead and press the finish button there. And it says that we're ready to install. You won't be able to use the PC while Windows installs. Save and close your files before you begin. Very important, do not use the computer when you're doing an upgrade. You want to be ready to have it plugged in, If it's a desktop computer, that's not a problem. If it's a laptop, make sure it's plugged into reliable AC power. Make sure you're not needing to do anything, and that I really mean that. You cannot use this when it's doing the upgrade. So don't say, oh, well, I'll just browse Facebook, or I'll just check email, or I have a very important teleconference at 9:30, so if it's going past 9:30, I'll just do that. Wait. Do the upgrade when you know you do not need the computer until that upgrade's completed. Plan for at least a few hours for the computer to be out of commission. Really good time to rediscover outside, talk to friends and family, let everybody know you still live on the other side of the screen. So it's told me that I'm going to install Windows 8 Pro, keep Windows settings, personal files, and apps. I can change selections right now by clicking change selection. I'm good with that, so I'm going to go ahead and click install. Now it's going to bring up the installation screen. There is a cancel button here, so if you say, oh, wait, I didn't mean that, I didn't need that, you can press cancel, but do it very rapidly. Don't let this go into the installation to any degree if you decide you want to cancel at this point. It says your PC will restart several times. This might take a while. And you're going to see up here the little spinning icon, and it says 10% complete right now, and it's going to slowly move from generally 1% it'll start with. It depends where you were in the upgrade process, but this is started at 10, and it's going to go to 100% and then restart your computer. We're kind of going to fade out at this point and fade back in when we're later in the setup process. We guarantee, though, nothing happens when we cut from the video. So all that's happening is it's going from 11 to 12 to 13 on forward till 99% when we come back to it. If anything does pop up, we'll actually cut the video back in and show what the pop-up is and how we resolved it or what information was requested. Okay, guys, we're back, and it's gone to 100%, and now it's indicating that your PC will restart in a few moments. The CD drive's accessing back and forth, loading the last few bits of data and copying the last few files, and needs over. This is perfectly normal. Windows is going to go ahead and close the setup program in a few moments and restart the computer and continue with the setup for Windows 8. This is by far the longest portion of the setup for Windows. It's been about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes so far in total time. And of course, your results will vary based on your computer speed, the files that need to be copied, the hard drive access speed, what kind of hard drive it is. A lot of factors will go into if your upgrade's faster, slower, or about the same time as this upgrade's taken. And there you can see the Windows 7 desktop's back, and it's now rebooting the computer. And this should be the last time you see Windows 7 come up for you, because from here on out, it should automatically start up into Windows 8. So there we have the new Windows 8 loading screen. And you can see it's preparing the computer starting at 50%, 75. It's going to do another power cycle, another reboot. And then it should start copying over the personal files settings. And that process is going to take anywhere from a few minutes to about 15 to 20 minutes in total. It's getting the devices ready. You may see, just like you did before there, the screen flicker on and off. That's perfectly normal. You may also see the mouse engage and disengage. You may see if you have a backlit keyboard, the keyboard light up and then go dark again. It's pretty normal. It's just refreshing the devices in that case and making sure the drivers are working correctly for them. Now, I don't know how clear this is in the video audio-wise, but you can hear the CD drive spin up, and periodically the CD drive is going to get re-accessed and start spinning again when it's doing the setup, both in the initial phase where it copies over all the information and when it's doing things like moving your files or installing specific device drivers. It's important to leave the CD in the drive during this entire setup process And not to be concerned if you hear the CD drive start spinning and stop spinning. It's perfectly normal for it to spin for portions of the setup, but not for the whole thing. Something to note here, when something is apparently stuck at 100%, or sometimes it'll be stuck at a particular percent, you can see the icon on the screen is still moving, which is a sign that it's still working. So now we have the Windows setup loaded, and it's asking us to personalize. It's kind of a neat feature of Windows 7. It lets you pick the background color, and this would be equivalent almost to the theme that you used to use in Windows 7. It's a more simplistic design. The default is this purple color, and you can go through the different color shades, from one to the other. It's hard to say which one I like the most so far. I think really I prefer this blue color. It reminds me of a clear sunny day, clear, beautiful blue skies. Some people like something more vibrant, they want to go with a red or an orange. Some people really like these darker colors where they're going to go with the gray with the orange accents, or, for example, gray with the blue accents. I think I'd rather go with the blue with the off-color blue accents. I think that makes a very classy look to it and something new. I think I'm done with grays and really dark colors for right now. But that's a great part. It lets you personalize it. And here we have a configuration for the wireless. In this case, I'm going to pick my home network. It says connect automatically. I'm going to press connect. And this is going to prompt me to enter the passcode for my home network. So I went ahead and entered in my Wi-Fi passcode and pressed the connect button. And here it's asking me if I want to use the express settings. Now the express settings would automatically install important and recommended updates, help protect your PC from files and websites, turn on the Do Not Track in Internet Explorer, which tells websites that you prefer not to be tracked. Doesn't necessarily mean the website's going to follow that command, but it is a new initiative by many web companies to tell companies, listen, I'm not interested in being tracked. I'm not interested in having cookies and things like that saved. Help improve Microsoft services by sending information, check online for solutions to problems, let apps use your personal PC location, name, and account picture, and turn on sharing in your home network. I prefer to click customize here, but you really want to pick these settings one by one, in my opinion. The first one's going to ask you if you want to turn on network sharing. You want to turn it on if you're using a home network or a secure work network. You want to say you don't want to turn it on if you're using public networks mostly. Windows Update's going to automatically install important and recommended updates. Just important updates, or don't install Windows Updates. I'd recommend never picking don't install Windows Updates, but I would choose install important updates. Important ones are really the critical ones, and the recommended ones are optional driver updates and things like that you may want to install or you may not want to install. I think it's better to have the option and choose yourself. It's going to then ask if you want to automatically download devices, apps, and info for new devices you plug in. I'd select yes. When you plug in a USB device, it's going to try to find a driver for it, which is a really helpful thing. Help protecting your PC, smart screen filters to check files and apps with Microsoft. I think smart screen's a pretty good feature of Windows. Internet Explorer smart screen filter to check URLs and downloads, again, to double check they're not malicious or malware. And send the do not track to websites. So if you use Internet Explorer, we're going to leave all those on. We're going to press next. It's going to ask us about Microsoft's apps and making them better. Do you wish to send information about the Windows Store? And we're going to select no. I'm not really interested in sending that information. Help Microsoft respond to malicious apps and malware by joining Microsoft's Active Protection Service. Not really interested there. Help improve Microsoft services by sending location data with location-aware apps. Again, no. Participate in the Customer Experience Program to help improve Microsoft software and services. It'll automatically download a file that's collecting the data periodically. No, thank you. And help improve Microsoft's help. Again, these are things you can choose to or not. I prefer just not sending that information out to Microsoft. If they want me to be part of some kind of testing program, I can do that specifically. I'm not necessarily interested in having my computer automatically send them updates about files I've downloaded or crashes or things that have happened. Check online for solutions to problems. Use Windows error reporting. That's really good. It'll try to help if you do have a crash. It can send the error report to Microsoft. You can select on or off in that case. By default, I tend to leave it on, but that's one of those ones that's personal. Use Internet Explorer compatibility views. That's if a website isn't compatible with the newer version of Internet Explorer, it'll try to use the compatibility view if there's a setting available. I'd leave that on. let apps use my name and account picture. That's going to be for your Windows Live account that you have to sign into Windows 8 with. In this case, the name and the account picture is not too personal information. I'm going to allow access to that. And turn on Windows location platform so apps can ask users for their location. In this case, it's going to prompt me if I want to share it or not. So I'm going to turn on the service, but the app's still going to ask me if I want to allow my password and my location information to be sent to the app, and I can say no. In this case, it's going to ask for my password, and I'm just going to type that in right now. I'm hoping the back of my shirt is nice and clean. I'm going to press enter, and now it's going to ask me, sign into your PC. You want to use a Windows Live ID, in this case, for your Microsoft Store to get content for the Microsoft apps and to sync information using the SkyDrive built-in services here. Now, there's a privacy statement for what is and is not collected. You can set up a no email address. You can sign in without a Microsoft account if you choose. However, when you sign in without a Microsoft account, it won't give you access to that syncing, to the updates, and of course to the Microsoft Store, which is the Windows Store, which is pretty important because that's where you're going to get a lot of the unique apps that you can download directly for Windows 8. In this case, I already have a Hotmail account, so I can use that, or you can go down here and click in sign up for a new email address. In that case, it's going to open another form. I'm just going to click that to show you what the form looks like. It asks you for an email, a password, a first name, a last name. So I'm going to go ahead and click cancel. And Microsoft just said hi to us while we're getting things ready. This is kind of a little tutorial about two of the really important features of Windows. They kind of beat you over the head with this one, but it's important because it's such a unique aspect to Windows 8 that I think if they didn't say it, you wouldn't know what they're talking about. So they're talking about move your mouse into any corner. So once you do that, you get what they call the Charms bar. And the Charms bar is going to let you access the search, the Microsoft Store, the Windows Store. It's going to let you access the settings menu. It's going to let you access Start, which is actually the new interface if you click on the Start icon. And of course the search, which is going to let you search your computer for apps or programs as they used to be called. It's going to let you search for files and for other things. And now we get the screen, we're getting your PC ready. This will take a few minutes. And here we've moved on to the taking care of a few things. Again, this kind of repeats the theme of Windows 8, which is the simplistic information. It's not showing you specifically what it's doing. We're not quite sure what taking care of a few things really means, except that it's probably finalizing the setup. To be honest, right now, it could just be cycling through all the colors. We'd have no idea because there's really no on-screen information as to what Windows Setup is specifically doing. Very different from the old versions of Windows. It's kind of jarring for somebody who's really interested in how the under-the-hood stuff works. But if you're somebody who really just wants to use their computer, it doesn't really care or doesn't really need to know what's actually going on during the setup, this is a much simpler to look at interface and really let you see just from a side swipe, hey, they're taking care of a few things, okay, I'm not quite done. And it warns you, of course, to not turn off your PC. We've gone to almost ready. Now we are going to put a link at the end of this video for WorldStart's Windows 8 coverage. You can see all of the articles that we've done on Windows 8, and periodically as we add new articles, you're going to be able to see them in the list also. It's a category view, and we're grouping all of our tips, tricks, videos, and information in one category. We're going to call it Windows 8, and everything should be there for you. If you have any questions, we're also going to put our Ask and Answer webpage on the links at the end of the video, showing you where to go. You can go to our WorldStart page and ask questions periodically. Usually about one every day, we answer a question that the readers write in, and they can range anything from something simple like, hey, I'm looking for a new computer, what does this i7 thing mean, to something really complicated where you talk about needing a specific kind of feature in Photoshop and how do you do this effect in Photoshop. We've answered pretty much one of everything, but we're always amazed to hear what comes in. And here we are loaded into Windows 8. So I hope this video has helped you guys go through the process of installing Windows 8. I'm hoping it's made you a little more confident do your own upgrade for Windows 8. Again, my suggestions, just to recap everything, is check the manufacturer's website for drivers specific to Windows 8. Google your particular laptop model. For mine, this was the L502X, so I went ahead and went into Google and said L502X Windows 8 problems. I also did Windows 8 update and went to Dell.com to check on that. I would highly recommend making a backup first of your computer. LapLink Disk Image is a fantastic product to do so. It makes an image, which is a complete copy of everything, so you can restore it if there's any problems with the upgrade. I had that happen. I went ahead and restored to Windows 7, was able to update the device drivers I needed, and get Windows 8 installed correctly. Finally, let the setup process proceed. It's going to take time. In Windows 8's case, it took a lot longer than I initially expected. It's about a 2 to 2.5 hour upgrade process for my laptop, and I consider it a pretty good one. It's in solid state drive, a Intel Core i5 processor, and it's got 8 gig of pretty fast memory. So I would say that this is what would be considered a medium to an upper end laptop, and it still took a while. So don't be surprised if your experience is in the 2 to 3 to 4 hour range to do a Windows 8 upgrade. That's probably pretty normal. So kind of sit back, enjoy yourself, watch some TV, go out with some friends, and come back and do what you need to do. And then finally, once you do get Windows 8 installed, go to Windows Update and install your updates. These updates are going in the background. Again, we can check here. If we go down to the upper right hand side or upper left hand side, it'll bring up the charms bar. We go to settings here, and then one more time we're going to go to change PC settings and to Windows Update, and we can see the update progress. In this case, it's at roughly 80%, and once it prompts to reboot, we'll reboot. Go to the bottom left hand corner, and we can bring up the Windows 8 main screen again. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any other questions, please go to some of the links you're seeing on the screen for our Windows 8 coverage. This is the category that covers all of Windows 8. Or to the next link, which is our Ask website, where you can ask questions. We answer one every day. Anything goes. You can ask questions about what's wrong with your PC. You can ask general tech questions. You can ask for upgrade advice. You can mention problems that you've had and solutions you're looking for. We're happy to answer anything, and we try to get to as many as humanly possible. Thank you again for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed.